This is a video that I've been thinking about doing for quite some time. It's actually inspired by two different videos that Jake Baldino did on his channel regarding games that he plays during Halloween time or games that he likes to play to get him in that spooky season mood, that Halloween mood. And I was figuring, you know what? I love Halloween, I love spooky season, and most importantly, I love the horror genre. And if you guys didn't know this about me already, you guys should know that one of my favorite types of games are survival horror games. After watching Jake's videos, I was thinking, you know what? I want to put my hat in the ring on this one for the obvious reasons I just did. I love horror games. Given how October is right around the corner along with spooky season and Halloween, I thought I'd share with you guys a couple of games that I played during spooky season, during Halloween time. Just to clarify, before I continue on, this is not a ranking, it's not a top 10 video. I just wrote down a bunch of games. Now, to be fair, the games are in alphabetical order, but I wrote down 10, technically 11 games because there's two that's part of a franchise, which please bear with me on that one once I get to that part of this video. I just wrote down 11 games that I play in alphabetical order that I like to play during Halloween time, during spooky season. And with all that being said, guys, I want to jump to the first game here, and that is Alan Wake Rematch, or just Alan Wake in general. I love this game. I mean, I will never forget the first time I saw the stage demo on E3. I think back it was 2010, I want to say, and I was just absolutely spellbound by what I saw. And being a big fan of Remedy's titles like Max Payne and Control, and I haven't played Quantum Break, but I've heard some good things about this one. But knowing that this especially is getting a sequel, finally, by the way, coming out next month, I am so excited to play the sequel. I've actually been replaying this game in preparation for that said sequel. Alan Wake is one of those issues, like, for example, some of the animations, especially when Alan Wake jumps, it's a bit stiff to say the least, and he still cannot run for too long without coughing or like breathing like he's a chain smoker. This game is the perfect game to play during Halloween time, especially if you're like me and you have like LED lights behind your TV. What I'd like to do, I'd like to change the lights from blue to red in my case to not only make the atmosphere, the ambiance just that much more so. The best way that I can describe Alan Wake is as if Remedy, or Sam Lake in this case, wrote a Stephen King-like story and put it into a video game. And he does quote Stephen King in the game. This game actually feels like Twin Peaks meets Stephen King, and the Twin Peaks references are very, very obvious, especially the diner that you're in. I mean, it's a very clear reference to Twin Peaks, which, by the way, actually a show you could actually watch during Halloween time. It's actually a really cool show, which I mistakenly said was a 7-day show in my review of it. Believe me, I have not forgotten about what I said on it. I highly suggest you guys check it out before Alan Wake 2 comes out, because believe me, this is a classic for a reason. The next game that I'm going to show off is one of my favorite games of all time. It's actually one of my favorite PS4 games, one of my favorite PS4 exclusives, and that is Bloodborne. It is my favorite From Software game. Yes, more than Sekiro, more than the Dark Souls games, Demon Souls, and not to mention Elden Ring, which I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Elden Ring is a great game, but I just look at Elden Ring as essentially like a Dark Souls 4. I almost did not pick up and play this game. It was actually under the insistence of my friend Shane, who told me after I got a PS4 saying, dude, I know that you're not a big fan of these particular types of games per se, but you need to check out Bloodborne because it is absolutely everything you love in a video game with aggressive combat, and the game just has spooky feelings. And he was right, because this game is just full of the combat you would love in a Soulsborne game, combined with a brilliant world with great H.P. Lovecraft-like visuals. The monster design is absolutely incredible, and not to mention the musical score, which, by the way, as well, I need to show this right now because why wouldn't I? One of my favorite scores ever in a video game, especially the Father Gascoigne boss battle. And also there's a track called Hail the Nightmare. It's just a track that just screams Halloween and just pure evil. And Bloodborne as a game, I can't tell you guys how many hours I've played into this game. I've had to beat the Old Hunters DLC because the fucking Orphan of Costs. This thing is a pain in the ass, is a huge fucking understand them. They need to either rematch this game or make a sequel already, because it's been how long now? I know there's been 3 Dark Souls games. Please, guys, make a sequel to this game. I would literally lose my fucking mind. This is a game that I had played throughout my life when I first put the demo on Xbox 360, but I didn't officially be until this year, and that is Condemned Criminal Origins. This is a game that I had constantly put the demo for on an Xbox 360 when it first came out, and it was actually, according to Jake Baldino, a launch of the Xbox 360. It has a great atmosphere to it, and as you're going through these things, you're a cop, a detective that's solving these cases while also trying to track down a serial killer, and here's what I could say about that. The only real issue I could say about this game is that the detective element isn't as well incorporated as you would think it is, but otherwise, guys, this is a creepy game full of tension and suspense and then some. This game is essentially 7 meets Silence of the Lambs. It was put into a video game. The 7 element is throughout this game, and I swear to God to you guys, the final act of this game, minus the end boss, which is more supernatural. But before you get to that, you go into a house in this game that feels like straight out of Silence of the Lambs. I mean, not the house layout, but the overall tone and the atmosphere in the final house there and before the big thing that happens. It feels straight out of Silence of the Lambs, and this is a freakiest whole game, in which, by the way, the melee combat is still to this day fucking brutal. I need some Mountain Dew. No joke, guys. It's almost 3 a.m. as I'm recording this. I need some Mountain Dew. I've been editing videos all night. And the next game is a game that I get is either a game you like or you dislike, but for me, Dead by Daylight is a game that I actually played during spooky season, during Halloween time. I completely get it. It's a game that is not really loved by everybody. It's one of those games you either like or you dislike. I actually got a code for the deluxe edition from actually one of the developers of the game, from Flick Direct. It's still being supported to this day, like I mentioned. It's a game that you either like or dislike, and I enjoy the fuck out of this game. I really, really do. Especially when not only do you have a good team of people that are on the survivor's side, but if you have a good and a fair killer that doesn't troll you, this game is not only terrifying, but it is fun as hell. The next game here I'm going to talk about is a game that I just reviewed for my channel, and that is Dead Space, the remake of Dead Space. Now, as you all know, guys, like I described in the video of my review for this game, the original Dead Space is one of the scariest games I've ever played, and knowing that a studio like EA Motive, who made Star Wars Squadrons, again, that I love, was making this game, I got very excited, and man, this is a game that not only, like I said in my review of the game, if you just want to see my full thoughts on this game, go to my review, go to the description below, go right to the review of this game. This is a game that not only recaptures everything that made the original release so damn good, but it redoes everything. Not redoes everything, but it rebuilds certain things. It rebuilds the graphics. It redesigns bits of the Ishimura as if it couldn't be better already. It's actually scarier than the original release, which I know is saying a lot because the original game is fucking terrifying, but believe me when I say this, I actually almost screamed playing this game. Play the remake, because I'm telling you guys, it is a great game. Before I continue on to the next game, which is gonna be a game that I guarantee none of you even heard about, and if you have, I will be actually very surprised. I guarantee you guys are wondering where I got this awesome t-shirt. Today's video is brought to you by Spookum's Terrific Apparel. As you guys are all aware, spooky season is upon us. Halloween time's around the corner. October is approaching with every coming day. And not about you guys, but I absolutely love horror. And I feel like that I don't have nearly enough horrific apparel in my life, even though my dad might disagree, but that's still his opinion. In case you guys don't think you have enough horror-themed apparel in your life, well, guys, guess what? Spookum's Terrific Apparel has you covered. This site, I'm not going to, guys, is a bit of a more recent website, but they reached out to me saying, hey, we love your stuff and what you do, and we were hoping that you'll team up with us. And I saw their designs, I looked through the site, and I absolutely loved it, so I said absolutely yes. This site has some really cool t-shirt designs. Like, for example, there's a Frankie t-shirt, which I will be getting very soon. Not to mention, for you Hocus Pocus fans, there are actually 1 or 2 Hocus Pocus t-shirts. I love the shirt that says Squad Ghouls. It's a really cute t-shirt. Not to mention, there's a Smile Clown t-shirt. There's a really cool Spookums Film Club bomber jacket. Just what you guys know, and believe me, you're gonna want to hear this, guys. If you guys want your own shirt from this website, use my coupon code AustinPutnam at checkout for 20% off. And given how this site is gonna have more sites to come, not more sites, but more shirts to come, believe you guys, when I say this, you're gonna want to take a shot at this deal. Once again, guys, use my coupon code AustinPutnam at checkout for a 20% discount for your own t-shirt. And once again, thank you Spookums for Apparel for sponsoring today's video. I seriously appreciate it, guys. Going on to the next game I'm gonna be talking about here, once again, I guarantee that none of you have heard about this game, but if you have, I'll be genuinely surprised. And this is a game that I've been playing legitimately ever since I was in middle school, actually elementary school. And it's a game that I still play to this day, and it's a game called Mortis. I don't know if you guys know this game, but if you do, I'll be genuinely shocked. This is a game that's actually on Newgrounds.com. Yes, if you guys remember Newgrounds.com, God, I just fucking aged myself right there, because that site has been around for ages. This game uses great sound design along with some pretty gruesome imagery. This maybe you could go like, holy shit, that's what I'm in for. Mortis is a point-and-click flash game where it's going through a house and you're investigating what the fuck happened. And believe me when I say this, guys, as it gets on to the ending, holy shit. And this game has an awesome jump scare. And this game apparently did so well that they made 2 more games. The second game is really good. The third game I unfortunately didn't play that much of. Mortis is a game that I suggest you check out, especially if you love games that have great sound design and has good overall atmosphere and tone. It's a game that I always go back to playing, and I guarantee I'm gonna play that game again with all my LED lights on right just to get me in that mood. But anyways, guys, let's go on to the next game. And this is a game that I actually reviewed last year, and that is Little Nightmares 2. Now, don't get me wrong when I say this to you guys. I did not mean to do that. I am so sorry to hurt your eardrums, guys. The first Little Nightmares is a very good game. In fact, it's almost a great game. But I feel like that there were a couple of issues that happened with Little Nightmares that held it being back from being a great game. Little Nightmares 2, however, is a fucking great game. Little Nightmares 2 and even Little Nightmares 1, I feel like, are perfectly digestible games to play during, especially on Halloween, because I think Little Nightmares 2 only takes a couple of hours to beat along with the first game, so you can literally do a double serving of Little Nightmares 1 and 2. And by the way, Little Nightmares 3 is happening, so if you guys haven't played these 2 games, even bigger incentive to play these 2 games as soon as you possibly can. Little Nightmares 2 has such a great, and I mean a great twist to it that I legitimately had my jaw drop. Little Nightmares 2 not only has a great atmosphere, but on top of all that, the art direction is a very Tim Burton-like style to it. You can't look at a single character in this game and tell me that's not a Tim Burton-like thing. Like, especially the chef and the kitchen, that motherfucker is a Tim Burton-style art direction. Seriously, you cannot tell me otherwise. I generally do think that if you love just a shorter game that lasts for like, what, 3, maybe 4 hours, I would say, probably a bit longer than that if you haven't played the game before, but if you just want to have a shorter game to play on Halloween time, I'm telling you guys, you're going to take my advice when I say this. Go into your movie theater room, your gaming room, or your bedroom or whatever. If you have LED lights, turn off all the lights in your room, either turn on red or blue lighting. I'm telling you guys, the ambiance will only make your playtime playing this game that much better. When it comes down to my next game, guys, the next game is really much of a horror game per se, but the reason why I'm mentioning is because in terms of the art direction, the character designs, and the music of the game, I'm putting this in this list for this specific reason. And this game also came out last year, but this is a game called Metal Hellsinger. And this is a game that I can definitely see myself playing in October because, man, here's the thing. For two specific reasons, or actually three. One, the gameplay style because it's a lot like Doom. Two, it incorporates a lot of heavy metal, which, if you guys know me personally, I love heavy metal. And three, the enemy designs and, well, I guess for the level design. I know this game isn't quite really a Halloween style game, but when I look at the soundtrack for this game, the soundtrack for this game is absolutely amazing. And also, just what you guys know, people from bands such as, I don't know, Trivium, Lamb of God, and in particular, System of a Down are in this game. Check this game out, guys. Oh, and by the way, Troy Baker voices a demonic skull, or just a skull, as if you needed another reason to get this game. Seriously, it is a great fucking game. I mentioned that I wrote down 10 games, but technically it's 11 because these next two games are on the same franchise, but I know you guys are going to guess what I'm going to say here, and that's Resident Evil. Which Resident Evil games in particular? One of them is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and the other one being Resident Evil 2 Remake. I love this game so much, and Resident Evil 7 I feel like is a game that does not get talked about. Resident Evil 7 is fucking terrifying. Resident Evil 2 is a bit more of an open game compared to Resident Evil 1's mansion, but you're essentially going around in a haunted police station, if you really think about it, and Resident Evil 7, you're going through a mansion that has a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe, and it's in first person. The thing I love the most about Resident Evil 7 is not just the atmosphere, but the overall feel of the game. I played Resident Evil Biohazard at least 6 times. Each time I play it, it just happens to get scarier and scarier and scarier. And when it comes to Resident Evil 2 Remake, I have beaten this game at least 4 times already. I mean, I love this game so much. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's one of the best remakes of all time. I remember when I first got this game, I almost did an all-nighter until 6 a.m. that night. Like, it was crazy the amount of time I spent on Resident Evil 2. Pick the damn game up, seriously. It is such good shit. When Resident Evil 7, play that game as well. I actually like it more than Village. BioHazard it did it for me. Going on to the last game I wrote down, and believe me guys, I didn't intentionally do this, but like I said, I put it in alphabetical order. But the last game I'm going to mention is my favorite survival horror game, or my favorite horror game of all time, and that is Silent Hill. Specifically, Silent Hill 2. Now, yes, just to clarify, I know this is the HD collection. The HD collection isn't great because they really fucked up on the fog in this game a lot. But still, nonetheless, Silent Hill 2, there's no words to describe how much of a perfect game this is. I mean, there have been, to say the least, there have been so many videos out there that have done deep dives on the psychological aspect of this game when it comes to the psychological horror genre, the monster design, the story, the characters. I'm not gonna be the guy that does this. I'm just gonna be talking about why I play this game during spooky season. One of them is because, as you can imagine, is the story. To me, Silent Hill 2's story is one of the best stories ever told in a video game. Not just from the tone itself, but how the story progresses and how it unfolds, especially going down to that damn ending, which is it's a depressing ending, man. Like, I'll never forget the first time I played and beat this game. By the end of it, I literally just went, wow. Not to mention, come on, you guys are going to bring it out. I love the score of Silent Hill 2. The score of Silent Hill 2 is one of the greatest video game scores I have ever heard in a video game. There's bits of the score that actually have a bit of tranquility to them, peace, but then there are times where, holy shit, it tightens that tension like a guitar string, and that guitar string just will not break. Like, it just keeps going and going and going. I'm gonna be frank with you all. I have never played the first Silent Hill game, which I know is kind of sacrilegious to play given how much I love Silent Hill 2 and even Silent Hill 3. And by the way, Silent Hill 4, No one talks about Silent Hill 4. It's a very, very good game. I have not played Silent Hill. I'm going to get around to it at some point. Hopefully they'll actually remake Silent Hill 1 at some point if Silent Hill 2 does well, to which that reminds me, Bluebird. Why not remake Silent Hill 1 first, then go to Silent Hill 2? Anyways, that's the point. I never get nightmares playing video games besides X-Mortis and a couple of other games I played in my life. Silent Hill 2 actually gave me nightmares. Like, to this day, it is the scariest game I've ever played. And I actually just started a playthrough not too long ago. And each time I play this game, it legitimately puts me on the edge. I'm on the edge of my seat, just biting my nails in suspense and wondering what the fuck is going to be in that fog waiting for me as I'm going through with that radio on. I did not plan for this. I was just writing down the games, and I just thought, you know what, let's just do alphabetical order, and it happened to be the last game I'm talking about. That is going to wrap it up for the games that I play during spooky season. So guys, please comment, let me know below. What are some of the games that you played during spooky season to get you in that mindset? And if you guys want me to, please come let me know below. If you want me to bring this video back for next year, please let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm also on Twitch. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell for when this video goes live. If you guys want to see my previous 2 videos, please click it right there or right there. And of course, the next review or video goes live. I will see you all next time.